Hey everyone, Dr. Cleworth here. This is the first of two tech tutorials that you're going to find in the course orientation section of Humanities 108. So welcome. The first tool that we're going to be talking about today is called Perusall, which is a social annotation application. Basically, what Perusall is going to allow us to do is have more interactive, meaningful discussions outside of a discussion board format. If any of you have taken online classes that require traditional discussion boards, you know how tedious they can get over time because you're writing basically miniature essays in response to your faculty member's prompt. It's kind of static, it's not particularly pinpointed, it's not dynamic. And it's certainly not all that interactive. So we're going to be using Perusall in this class in place of discussion boards, and we're going to be using them specifically for assignments that we're going to call, very boringly, activities. So you're going to find in each of your learning units an activity, and every time you see an activity listed, you'll know automatically, aha, that's going to be a Perusall assignment. So what you're looking at right now is the landing page for HUM 108 in Canvas. You'll all get very familiar with this page throughout the course of the semester. We're going to go ahead now and click on Modules, which is where you'll spend the vast majority of your time completing your coursework for HUM 108. So here you see the course orientation, which you should already be familiar with because you're right here in step 5 viewing the tech tools. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I just want to scroll through Learning Unit 1, which you also have available for Perusall at this time, and you'll see our first Perusall activity. So it's labeled activity, it has this little cog on it. All you need to do is click on it, and it'll open up a very brief assignment description. You can either read it or ignore it because this is going to be reiterated in greater detail once you jump into the actual tool. Perusall is best viewed in full screen, so I have it set to launch in a separate tab. If you've got pop-up blockers on, it might prevent you from launching the tool. So if you struggle with that, just check to make sure that your browser is allowing for pop-ups, at least for Canvas, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on this now, and this is going to bring you right into Perusall. And because I have it set up with assignment links in Canvas, it'll bring you directly to the assignment at hand. So our first activity is basically an opportunity to look at 4 videos about different humanistic disciplines and how they can benefit our life and enrichen our inner lives in really interesting ways. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and pop into student view here so you don't see all of the other gunk that I as the faculty member see. So click OK. So the first thing I want to bring your attention to is really at the top here is sort of your table of contents. You've got the Get Started page, which gives you a little bit of an overview of what Perusall is all about. You may look at that once and then probably never look at it again. Library, this is really helpful because it is a comprehensive listing of all of the readings and media that I have uploaded to Perusall and will have deployed into our assignments. So for instance, if you do an assignment in Perusall and a couple weeks later you're like, oh, I really want to go back to that video that we watched in that assignment that was interesting and I want to use it for another aspect of the class. Instead of having to tunnel back through the assignment, you can just go into the library, find it, and play it from there. And then finally here we have assignments. So when you click on that, you're going to see a listing of any assignments that have been deployed in the class so far. So we see 4 active assignments, again called activities. There'll probably be 3 more before the semester is out. At the top here we have an optional practice assignment. I strongly recommend that you click on this assignment and move through it, even though there are no points associated with it, because it provides a really good detailed introduction to the Perusall tool. So we're clicked on this optional assignment now. Whenever you click on an assignment, you'll see the assignment description on the right-hand side. And then at the very bottom, this green Work On assignment you need to click on this to launch the actual assignment itself. So we're going to go ahead and do that with this practice assignment. And the first time you click on the practice assignment, you're going to get this text box here. And what this is a tour of Perusall, and it'll give you an opportunity to go through all of the different icons in the menu on the right-hand side here. And this will just provide you with the opportunity to know how to use these tools in a little bit more nuanced detail. I'm not going to go through them all right now because I don't want this tutorial to run to like 20 minutes, okay? But I highly recommend that you just keep clicking next, and it'll move through and highlight for you each of these menu options and tell you what they're all about. So we're going to go ahead and end the tour now and scroll back to the top here. So now you see the assignment. You're going to see what the practice assignment description is here on the right-hand side. At any point, if you want to see the actual assignment interface in sort of a full screen mode, you can just click out of the assignment information and voila, you've got a full screen interface for the assignment itself. Okay. Many assignments that you're going to be interacting with in Perusall have multiple parts, and you can see the parts top up here, parts 1 of 6. You can navigate through the parts by clicking next part, and then you can go back and forth as needed. So what's happening in this first practice assignment is you're essentially being oriented to social annotation, and Perusall is trying to teach you what quality annotations look like. They're open-ended, they're curious, they're engaged, they're not redundant, they're not judgmental. They tend to try to integrate different aspects of the content of the assignment in nuanced ways. And this integration is often coined holistic in Perusall speak. So you'll see a lot of mention of holistic descriptions of comments. Okay, so you can go ahead and move through the assignment here, and at the bottom you're going to get some prompts of things that you can do in order to kind of evaluate some of the comments that they have posted here. And you'll also have opportunities to think about how to ask really good questions within the interface. So go ahead and do that. That will be super helpful for you. What I want to show you now, though, is just the basic functionality of this interface. And when we're doing social annotations, we're basically trying to target elements of an assigned reading or an assigned video that we want to comment on. So when we're looking at a reading, the way we comment on a specific part of a reading is we highlight what we think is interesting. So I'm just going to highlight this first sentence for you using my cursor, and as soon as I let go, you'll see a conversation box pop up, and it has all of these sort of formatting options, the ability to add emojis, links, other sort of formatting cues here. And this is where you will enter your primary annotation, and you'll say, "This is very interesting," and blah, 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 blah. And of course, your comments are going to be far more insightful than this, okay? So you're going to learn what holistic and engaged annotations are all about if you do the practice assignment. So click return, and up here you'll see my little note posted, okay? If for any reason you wanted to reply to a specific comment, you can always click the @ button and you'll find a full list of users, okay? That's a way that you can kind of direct your comments to a specific individual in the class. Another thing that you can do is just click on the comment itself. I can't do it because I'm replying to myself here, but if one of you clicked on it, you could just reply directly as well. So this is how you're going to annotate both readings and videos in Perusall. When you're dealing with a video, you're going to see the video in the primary screen here. In fact, I'll go ahead and take you into an example of that. Let's do that now. Go to assignment. We're going to launch this first actual graded assignment. You'll see the video here. You're going to click the play button. And as the video is playing, if something is said that you think, oh, that's really interesting, I want to say something about that, you go ahead and you click Add Comment, and voila, the text box opens up. And then you're going to see down here at the bottom, it may be cut off by the screencasting software I'm using, but there'll be a little dot here showing you where in the video timeline you have annotated. So that is Perusall in a nutshell. Every assignment is a little different. Sometimes I'm going to ask you for 3 original annotations, and then I'll ask you for 3 response annotations. So that means 3 times you're going to be kind of generating your own ideas based upon what you're experiencing or thinking about as you engage the materials. And then responses are you interacting with your colleagues and offering up thoughts and insights about what they're experiencing or how they're processing or interpreting the materials. Okay? So that is the basic interface of Perusall. Other things you need to know about Perusall are as follows. Perusall is going to use AI grading as a first pass at your annotations. So in any assignment, I'm going to go ahead and click out of this conversation here. Let's see if I can go back to assignments. Go work on assignment. Okay, not seeing what I'm looking for here. Nonetheless, okay, so when you're in a specific assignment, you're always going to find the criteria through which your annotations are going to be evaluated. And I have in Perusall programmed the AI usage to make a sort of first judgment about your performance on that. What was going to happen though is after an assignment ends, I will then go into the gradebook and look at the evaluation that Perusall has offered, and then I will make adjustments as I think are appropriate. All throughout this process, I'm going to be annotating and talking to you in the assignment using annotations just like the rest of you. So you're going to be getting some very directed feedback from me through that mechanism. But you will also, when you look at your scores, you're going to click on this button here called My Scores. You'll find your assignments. And once you start actually completing assignments, you'll see your scores here. You'll be able to click on your score, and that'll open up additional evaluation information. And you're going to see all of the different criteria that were used to give you your score on a specific assignment. I will always have agency over those scores. The AI pass is just a way of kind of speeding up the process and giving me a baseline through which to work. Because this is an honors class, at least, excuse me, not all of you are honor students. I take that back. But because this is a class with a smaller class size, I'm going to be able to give you a lot of direct and individual feedback as we move through the semester. Last thing I want to say in these final 90 seconds of this tutorial. There are a ton of different ways that you can earn points on these activity assignments by meeting the required number of annotations, by creating high quality annotations, by reading an assignment all the way from beginning to end. Perusall can actually track how much of a reading or a video you read or watch. So you can actually get points for that. You can get points for the amount of time you spend on a task. So if you just pop in and pop out and dump 3 or 4 comments in 4 minutes, you're not going to get a lot of additional points for time on task. But if you spend a lot of time interacting with the materials, that can also help your score as well. So there's a very holistic grading mechanism for these activity assignments. All right, everyone. I think that's a first good stab at Perusall. Do not panic if on the first activity assignment it's a little clunky and you get a little confused. Just reach out to me and I will be glad to answer any questions that you have. So hopefully this was helpful, and I look forward to our first social annotation assignment together.